Hello there, people of the internet. This is gonna be an interesting one. It's gonna be a fun one, just because I don't think that I've covered this before. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've even thought about this before. So those of you who watch the YouTube channel know that I got my YouTube arsenal. This is the hobby stuff. This is the fun stuff. This is the stuff we play around with. This is the stuff I make the videos with, right? But then I've got my private stuff that I don't put up on the internet. It's essentially my own personal private collection, and there's reasons why I don't put them up on the internet, and people complain about that. They're like, why would you even tell us about it and whatnot? And I tell you guys about that so you don't think I'm just completely incompetent buying all this random old military surplus stuff without having the proper bases covered already. So trust me whenever I say the bases are properly covered. But as far as the YouTube stuff goes, I was asked, and if I had to pick out of the YouTube arsenal something to face the end of the world with, like a full-fledged SHTF go-to firearm, what would I pick? And like I said, I don't think I even ever thought about that. So, of course, a vast majority of the military surplus guns are just off the table. I'm not rocking a 5-shot bolt-action rifle in an end-of-the-world situation, or even like a 10-shot Lee Enfield. The one bolt-action rifle I have that I would even consider would be my Ishapur 2A1, because it's chambered in 7.62 NATO, but I've only got one magazine for it, but it does feed through stripper clips. That's the one thing I would even, like, think about for a bolt-action rifle. As far as semi-automatics go, all of my semi-autos, for the most part, are like 1940s, 1950s technology. Like, I got a couple of M1 Grands, I got some SKS rifles, I got bare minimum base stock basic AK-47. This right here is a Romanian RH-10. It wouldn't be a bad choice, but it wouldn't be the greatest choice either. 7.62x39, it's a great cartridge, but it's just not going to be ideal for like a full-fledged end-of-the-world situation. But boy, would this be a really good option. See, I don't want to necessarily call myself gun savvy, because I'm more gun savvy than the average person, but there's people in the comments that sometimes just put my gun knowledge to absolute shame. Something like this right here, that would require a very, very minimal amount of maintenance, would be great for a lot of people in a bad time, because the ability to provide your firearm with maintenance just is not going to be all that good. However, me being gun savvy, I know a lot of ways to be able to maintain a firearm, so I'm probably going to lean towards a 5.56 rifle, likely an AR platform of some kind. I got 3 options in the YouTube arsenal that I would look at. I guess 4 options. So, number 1, this is one that I would not pick. This right here is my Ruger Mini 14. Don't get me wrong, it's a good option, but it's antiquated. At least this particular setup is antiquated. There's no real way to mount optics. The way that you pull the magazines out of these things in a stressful situation, you might fumble something with the rock and lock system that you got going on. It's easier just to push a magazine up into a magazine well and call it done. There's no optics on this, no sights, or, well, there's sights. There's no scopes, that's the word I was looking for. All you get is these iron sights, and I mean, they're good, but they're not great. It's got like this really, really fine skinny aperture sight on the rear, and it's kind of hard for me to see through with my eyesight, because I got like this setup with my eyes. I'm like kind of nearsighted, kind of not nearsighted. Within like about 6 inches or so, things get really blurry, and then I go out to about 3 feet and I can see things, and then beyond that they start getting blurry again. And that's just the way that my sight is. So maybe if this had like a leaf sight on it or something, I might have an easier time with it. Or maybe if it had a larger aperture hole on it, I might have some better times with it. But just me not being able to mount optics to that thing automatically turns me off on the Ruger Mini 14. Now up next, I got this Radical Firearms AR. I have seen these break 3 different times. I think 2 or 3 of the times I literally have documented on my YouTube channel. The bolts on these break at 5,000 rounds. On top of that, the barrels wear out at about that 5,000 round point. You'll have a 2 MOA rifle that'll very quickly become a 5 or 6 MOA as you start shooting beyond that 5,000 round mark. They're just designed for 5,000 rounds. They got that lifespan, 5,000 round lifespan. Now you can swap out the bolts, swap out the internals, swap out whatever it is that you want for this rifle, but then it's not really a Radical Firearms AR now, is it? I do have a set of fixed iron sights on this thing, which I think would probably be the best setup versus something like folding iron sights, because you want durability. And if you have folding iron sights, that's just one more thing that can break on your rifle. The Radical Firearms AR-15s, these have a 1 in 7 twist, and I know that you can stabilize a bunch of different bullets with it, but let's be honest, in a bad time situation, odds are you're going to be running either 55 or 62 grain bullets. And 55 and 62 grain bullets from a 1 in 7 twist just are not that great against soft targets. If you've ever watched any gel tests with this, it's just not great. And I think just the combination of these rifles not having a long lifespan and it being a 1 in 7 twist barrel, that's going to make me set this aside as my go-to rifle. I do, however, have this Del-Ton DTI 15. This is my Coyote gun. And this is definitely a much better setup than that Radical Firearms AR. This has a 1 in 9 twist barrel, and the reason why a 1 in 9 twist barrel is better for the 55 and 62 grain bullets is because it's less stabilized, and that sounds like a bad thing, but it's not. It's stable enough for you to get really good accuracy with these rounds, but as soon as that round smacks into a target, because it's fairly unstable, not completely unstable, it's fairly unstable, it's going to immediately start to tumble once it smacks onto that target, and man, it is just devastating against a gelatinous round. So unless you're going up against something that has body armor, or something that is not a gelatinous round, maybe, I don't know, robots, I don't know what the apocalypse is going to entail, maybe there's people with mech suits now, I got no idea. But if you're doing, say, a two-way range with human-on-human contact, then the 1 in 9 twist with your 55 and 62 grain bullets are just dramatically more devastating on soft tissue than a 1 in 7 twist. And you can watch any number of gel tests currently on YouTube that will show this. However, this right here has a very short, well, I say very short, it has the shortest legal barrel on it, which is a 16-inch barrel. Which, within like 300 yards, I mean, that's enough adequate velocity. You can get your job done. This would not be a bad choice. I've got an upgraded bolt carrier group inside this thing, and I have a heavy barrel on this thing versus like your lighter weight barrels for better sustained fire. But I don't really foresee me needing that better sustained fire. I'm not planning on being in any gunfights. I would basically be doing what I need to do to break contact, and that is it. So that heavy barrel is basically just added weight, and it's a 1 in 9 twist, and that's good, but it's still not great. You might have some issues with, say, ice pick wounds with the 5.56 round, especially with like your green tip rounds. They're just, those rounds were designed around a 20-inch barrel, and you're not going to get the maximum effectiveness out of something like this right here. So out of the YouTube arsenal, if I had to pick something, I would probably pick this right here. This is my M16 inspired build. This right here is a PSA upper on a KP15 lower, but it's got an aftermarket barrel inside of it, and the barrel is a 1 in 10 twist. And the 1 in 10 twist is very good at stabilizing 55 and 62 grain bullets. However, whenever those rounds smack onto a target, it's a lot like what you would see with a 1 in 12 twist barrel with 55 grain bullets. Like, if you look up the Military Arms channel, his testing with that, and just how dramatic of a difference it is between, say, a 1 in 12 twist barrel in comparison to like a 1 in 7 twist barrel, the difference in damage on target is ruthlessly dramatic. And the 1 in 10 twist, it's not a 1 in 12 twist, so you're going to see a little bit less damage on target because you're going to have a little bit more dwell time into your target before that bullet starts to tumble, but I don't think that it's enough of a difference to really matter. But the 1 in 10 twist can stabilize both 55 and 62 grain bullets, which are going to be your most common bullet weights. Unlike something like the 1 in 12 twist, which can only stabilize those 55 grain bullets. So just because of the 1 in 10 twist With the long barrel, it is a pencil barrel as well. On top of that, I also have this carry handle here, and we have iron sights. And the iron sights, we got a front, or a M16 style front sight, and it is fixed in place, and it is extraordinarily durable. And the carry handle, although it is separate and attached from a Picatinny rail, this one right here is still also quite durable. This isn't your cheapo PSA bought carry handle. I think that this one right here is an actual USGI surplus carry handle. And on top of that, we have a 4-power scope, and this one right here doesn't take batteries or anything like that, so I don't have to worry about, say, a red dot dying or some sort of issue like that. So I got my magnified scope, I got my iron sights, I got my long barrel, I got my 1 in 10 twist barrel. This way I can get the most damage possible out of my rounds that I'll be carrying with me, and I can see long enough distances to make full effectiveness of those rounds. Like, the 4-power scope really is not that powerful of a scope, but boy is it adequate at the distances that you're most likely going to be engaging anything at. I think out of the YouTube arsenal, if I had to pick one thing to run in an end-of-the-world situation, it would probably be this M16 inspired build. On top of that, monolithic lower. This thing is stupidly lightweight. Last time I weighed this out, it came out to like 5.5 pounds unloaded, and I could lug this thing around all day long at that particular weight. So that's my pick from the things that I have available to me. It would probably be this thing right here, and I think that that is going to be my best option, because who knows how long the end of the world thing is going to be going on. I don't know if I'm getting resupplied with batteries or anything like that, so a non-battery powered zoomed optic combined with iron sights for if I have to do anything up close that 4 power is too zoomed in to be able to effectively do. I think I have the iron sights. I have really good options with this, and if necessary, I can always take this scope off and throw a more powerful scope on top of it, but I don't really foresee me ever needing to do that. So that's my choice. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below is a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next episode. Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. Shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.